Welcome to Libertalia. Adventure awaits on the high seas where only the schemiest and most connivingness, yeah, that's a word, don't look it up. It's how we say it on the high seas, okay? Pirate will take home the victory. Of course, the victory being the thing that pirates love best, cardboard doubloons. Oh, baby. No, this is a pretty fun game. It's a fun game of simultaneous play, reading your opponent's intentions, which of course is going to bring a smile to my face, and gut decisions that plays pretty consistently in just an hour. So first I'm going to show you how to play, how to set up, how to play, and then I'll share my thoughts on Libertalia and why I think it is a pretty good game. If you're just looking to see if it's a good game, it's a good game. It's a lovely addition from Stonemaier, other than these stupid dials, which I'll get to in a second. Well, before we begin, you may have seen a little paid promotion thing flash on the screen. I was not paid for this review whatsoever. This is my own opinion, but Stonemaier did send me a copy of this game, and part of their stipulation is they want the paid promotion to go on if they send out copies of the game to anybody, so there you go. I'm not paid. I cannot eat games. I wouldn't care whatsoever if this was bad or if it was good, because apparently Stonemaier doesn't even watch reviews. They just send them out into the ether. But that was their stipulation, and that's why that was there. Let's get into the game. The goal of Libertalia, as you can see this map in front of us, is to get the most money. And how do you get money, you asked? Well, by these loot tokens. Every day of the voyage, and there will be 3 total voyages, you or a crewmate that you send out will pick up one of these loot tokens. Now, the loot tokens do various things, from positive things, such as just giving you money, like the chest, to, as I rig the deck right now, to negative things, such as losing you money with the relics. Each of these loot tokens will have a different requirement, and there's a different side to this board as well. There's a sunny phase, which they say has less player screwage, but it kind of feels the same to me. And there's a stormy phase, and if you want to mix and match the abilities, well, they give you one side of each, so that if you want to play with the stormy chest and everything else being on the sunny side up, you can, which I think is a nice touch. Once all the loot tokens are populated, you see for day 4, Voyage 1 takes you up to day 4, Voyage 2 would take you up to day 5, and Voyage 3 would take you up to day 6. Each player is going to get a hand of 6 cards, but these cards are going to be the same for every player. So what you'll do is you'll take the cards, you'll shuffle them up, and then you'll flip out 6 random cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You'll then call out the numbers to each player, and each player will take their own deck, which is hopefully not shuffled, and they'll pull out those exact copies of the cards as well. So we have 7, the Preacher, the Officer, the Necromancer, the Brawler, the Thief, and the Watchman. Those are the 6 cards that we are going to have in our hand for this first voyage. Now you might say, well, Chris, you only have 4 turns on this first voyage. And I might say, yes, that means you're going to keep 2 cards and get a whole new hand of 6 cards, making it 8 cards for the next round, giving you even more and more options of what to play. On a player's turn, on your turn, everybody will take a card. We'll just take a random card for each player right now and place it face down simultaneously. Then once everybody's locked that card in, you'll reveal them and flip them up, arranging them from left to right on this board according to their size. So you see the Preacher here is worth 7, so it is less than 19. That means it goes here. Also, that means that it will activate its day ability first. So we'll see. The Preacher says, keep one of your loot tokens and discard the other. Gain 1 reputation for each discarded loot tokens. If I had happened to have loot tokens in front of me, let's say that I did, I would get to choose 1 to keep, and I would get to choose which ones to discard. I would then be able to discard this really bad purple token, which is going to give me negative points at the end of the round, and get it out of my way. That's perfect. In addition, I also gain reputation and move up on the reputation track, which will mean I break ties. Still, the green, who is my opponent right now, is top of the reputation track, but since this is actually set up for, a 3-player game, because that's why there are 3 tokens for each day, I've now moved ahead of the purple, who I was behind before. You can see purple and I played the same card, but purple is ahead on the reputation track, so purple gets to go second. Purple would do the same thing. Then we hit the Necromancer, who says, discard a relic token from your ship. If you do, return a character from your graveyard to your ship. So again, if I had that relic token and I had chosen this, I get to discard the relic token, and I get to bring somebody back who might have been discarded for another reason. These are horrible cards to pick for this example, but that's just what happened. I'm sorry about it. If I was being strategic, I might have tried to play, instead of the Preacher, I might have tried to play higher than everybody else. So maybe I played the Watchman. When it gets down to the Watchman, I can switch a loot token from the current day with the next day. And so I can look and see, okay, I don't know what these people will want, but I'm going to swap this saber out and put the hook there to make tomorrow's day be a complete wash, be almost the same effect for everybody. And then, once the day abilities are played out for everyone, then you do the dusk abilities. So, for example, let's say I played the Cook. The Cook wasn't one of the selections, you are right, but I'm using it because it has a dusk ability. I would get to activate its dusk ability and take a token. So I would take this chest token because it's going to be worth the most for me. And then the Hook says, unless you first gain a Hook token, gain a second loot token from the current day. So I'd actually get a second token and put it in front of me. It's a good day for me when I'm just playing by myself and nobody's competing with me by playing dumb moves. That's what the dusk abilities are. If I didn't play the Cook with that special ability, let's just say I had the Watchman, I would take whichever token I wanted. I'm going to take the chest because it's worth 4 coins instead of 2 at the end of the round. Then the Necromancer would get a choice. If I hadn't swapped those 2 things, there would actually be a choice. But in this case, they just take a hook and go back to their ship, and then he just takes a hook and goes back to his ship. That's a round. You do that 4 times, count up the loot, score it on this little wheel right here. The voyage is over. At the end of 3 voyages, whoever has the most money in their little chest, and when it's in your chest, nobody can steal it because some of the cards make you lose money. That's why it's reset every round. Whoever has the most coins at the end of the game wins. It's very simple. Now, Libertalia is a reprint of Libertalia, which was back in 2012. And the differences here from the main game, they did some balance tweaks. They added in a few more cards, and they added in that reputation system to really determine ties. I believe that's all the differences that are said at the back of this book. And it seems like everything that they've done has made it a little bit more streamlined and easy to get to the table and easy to explain. I agree. I think it's easy to explain. I think it's easy to get to the table. And it's from Stonemaier Games, and their production quality is always pretty top-notch. I love the new additions of the artwork. I love how cheerful it is. The box color brings people in, makes them want to play the game. But the most important thing is, mechanically, I think this game is fun. And where that fun comes from is the fact that you all have the same cards. You all have the same cards. So I know that your highest card is a 27. And the Watchman, and I know exactly what it does. And I have to anticipate if you're going to play that and when you're going to play that and correspond accordingly. There are also cards that have a little knight symbol on it. So the Brawler, for example, has this little knight symbol which activates every night, as opposed to the anchor symbol on other cards that only activates at the end of each voyage. This activates every single night. At the end of each day, there is a night, and this Brawler would gain 1 coin. However, it also has an ability that lets you kill another Brawler. So it encourages you to play it earlier, and it also encourages you to play it later. But there might be a ton of cards in your hand that let you play it earlier. And that benefits you to playing it early and benefits you to playing it later. There might be cards that manipulate the loot selection so that you don't have to take those negative points. There might be cards that let you steal tokens from other people. There might be cards that let you put people directly onto your ship so you can get their end of voyage ability and not get their really bad day ability. Some day abilities are bad, but they allow you to have first choice at the loot token. So it's all about judging this back and forth, this balance between what should be played now and what should be played later, and judging that against your opponent's strategy, which is definitely determined by reputation. If I know I'm behind in reputation, I don't want to play the same card as you. If I know I'm ahead of you in reputation, I want to play the exact same card as you, because then I'll get my choice of loot token. Plays very consistently regardless of the player count. And there is a solo mode, which I have not played because I'm not really a solo gamer, but there's also a 2-player mode, which adds in this little midshipman, and basically adds in another character to be activated, where if somebody's directly below the midshipman, then it has an effect on that character, or the opponent gets to choose what token is removed, which I think is really slick, and a really slick way to add that into the mix. You could almost add this into the mix in a 3-player game and just put 4 tokens down if you wanted to. There's no real variant that says you can do that, but guess what? It's your game. You can play it how you want. But as for production quality, it's very good. Stonemaier always makes really great games, really good production quality. I've never had any issue with them. In fact, I think they're one of the best publishers in the business, honestly, in terms, in a world filled with Kickstarter heavy deluxeifications. I feel like Stonemaier generally, their games feel like they have that deluxe quality, right? They go the extra mile in Wingspan to make a bird feeder and to have nice dice. And so these tokens are like really satisfying to play with. Honestly, these cardboard tokens, meh, they're not that great, but they do the job and they don't need to be metal or whatever. They're not exceptional. Even just saying that it's like exceptionally good production quality, the tokens suck. And what's really infuriating, and I'm going to go to the close-up on the top down, are these, is this dial. Because generally, if you move a dial one way, see how it's going down, and you're kind of counting down? That makes sense. And so you'd think on this side, if you went down, that it would count down. No, you're counting up. So if you want to raise your thing, you have to be turning this upwards and then pushing this downwards. And it gives like a really stupid, like backwards and forwards, head touching, tail touching, whatever. And this is specific, like I didn't put these in the wrong way. There was a right side and a left side, because if I had put them in the other way, well, they would be upside down. They would be upside down. That's how the circles work. So other than a really stupid design for these gears, which frustrates me literally every time I play, because I go, okay, I gotta, and I always will turn it the wrong way. And maybe that's just a me thing. Other than that, the production quality is top notch. I love the art, and the cards, which are the most important part, feel really nice. So all in all, I think the changes that Stonemaier has made, just reading about them, really elevate this game to a good score. I love that there are 40 characters. You're going to see so many combinations of characters. You don't know what characters are going to turn up, so you can't bank on that. You're seeing less than 50% of the characters throughout the game, which I think is very exciting and leads it coming back. I love that there's a calm side and a stormy side, and the fact that you can just flip these every game, again, leads for more variability. Boom, now we're doing this for the saber section, and we're doing this for the hook section, right? So the variability here, which is a high point for me for a lot of games, I think is really, really good. I also am particularly impressed at how this plays with various player counts, because it plays very similarly. Sure, with a 6-player game, it's a bit chaotic. You have 6 tokens, everybody has 6 cards, and you don't know who's going to play what and how you're going to fall in the token garnering of things. But I'm really impressed in terms, and this is a design thing, in how quickly it goes by, right? It all deals with that simultaneous play, flip up. It's very easy to activate the abilities and very easy to go back, and it never bogs down too much. The decision space feels simple because you only have 6 cards in your hand. You only have those choices. There's not too much forward thinking that you can do other than looking ahead at what tiles are populating what days and thinking about trying to save your higher cards for certain days or your lower cards for other days. That won't matter as much. But I think it just finds a really nice balance of providing a similar experience at all player counts. And there are not a lot of games that are able to do that. And that's one of the main selling points of Libertalia. So if you like that, again, this is something that I really enjoy in games. If you like trying to read your opponent's mind, anticipate their actions. It's really solid, and I didn't expect to like it as much as I did. I thought it was probably going to be fine, and I think it's good. So I would give this like a seal of approval on this channel. That's the official Room and Board rating, a seal of approval. It's like a 4 out of 5, 8 out of 10. 7.5 out of 10, 7.75 out of 10, 7.98 out of 10. That's what it is. 8.01, it's around there. And I think the reason why it isn't like, it doesn't blow me away. And I also see that there is the possibility for a player to be like really out of it. If you get kicked out pretty early, there's not much you can do to claw your way back, but there is a lot. There are some big swings of points, and what's kind of cool is that if I've had a big swingy point turn and you haven't played those cards yet, you could probably have a big swingy point turn as well because you got the cards in your hand to do it. That help me kind of soar forward. So in that ebb and flow, it's nice, but I know that each game I've played, there's been a few people who are like really close, and then there's been one person who's just like half of their score. And so that's a possibility. But I think the game goes by quickly enough that doesn't really matter. And all in all, I think it's quite nice. I'm happy to have a copy. So thanks to Stonemaier for paying for this promotion. No. Thanks to Stonemaier for sending me a copy. I'm going to hold on to this and probably grab it. When will I play this game? I'll probably grab it when there's a large group of people. You know, when there's 6 players. Often a lot of games only play up to 4, but if you want a 6-player game, either to kind of end the night or to start things off, that has some robust decision making, as not a lot of 6-player games do. This is definitely one that I could grab, and I think a lot of people could have a really good time at. So hopefully that was helpful. Hopefully this tells you a little bit about Libertalia, Winds of Galecrest. If you were familiar, pinch that little like button and leave a comment or something. Tell me what you think. Have you played it? Have you not? How much do you agree that these dials are dumb? If you've played it, please let me know if I'm just crazy or not. Anyway, my name is Chris George, and I don't have a catchphrase. I wish I did. I wish I did, but I just don't. But at least I have a game that lets me sail the high seas without all of that seasickness, you know? Just a little bit of queasiness when the cards don't fall my way.